going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a good Friday. Everybody starts their good old weekend this weekend. Uh, just wanted to do a little background here on SlagHammer, where the car came from, how it came to be, the change in the build, and answer some questions like that because a lot of people are not understanding this build. And basically, this thing is going to be a gasser slash street freak. But anyway, this car originally was a complete car. It had a 273 in it, but it was hit very hard in the right rear quarter or driver's side quarter panel. So Tony bought the car, drove around for a little bit, and decided to part it out. Somebody needed 273 transmission and the cave member, so all that came out. Some trim pieces were sold off. I mean, basically the car ended up being just a parts car, selling everything out of it. By the time that was all done, the only thing was left of the car was from the firewall back. And so anyway, the car sat for quite a while, not knowing its future, what was going to happen. And so anyway, this thing came up called the Gambler 500. It was something they used to do here in Tennessee, and I mean, it's all over the U.S., where you build something, you got a budget of $500 to purchase the car, you can make it to anything you want it to, like a Mad Max deal, or a one-off thing. Well, this thing was going to becoming an off-road vehicle. So Tony obtained a truck frame, D100 frame, with straight axle and rear end underneath it. Well, he started to do the build. He had the body in the back. I mean, yeah, all reality, there was nothing left of this car. So anyway, he was going to build this thing for the Gambler 500. So he wasn't worried about doing body work on it. Basically, it got mounted directly to the frame, and then it sat idle. Well, the Gambler 500 ended up canceling last year, so this vehicle got put on the back burner, not knowing its future. Well, anyway, Tony and I have sat there and talked off and on for years about doing a build together. And he threw me the idea of building a gasser slash street freak type car. And I was like, okay, I'm into this. So anyway, the car comes over here, and we look at it. It's a 4-door. Tony has an idea, let's make a 2-door post car out of it. So anyway, he went to swap meets and did part swap, whatever else. Got a couple of doors, a couple of fenders, and and these are things that other people didn't want because they were just really in bad shape, but they were workable. So this started SlagHammer, and it is what it is. It's a bunch of junk parts put together. Yes, there's been a lot of body work. Yes, we probably could have sat there and found a quarter panel to put on the rear. But our thing is, build this thing on a budget. Because a lot of people don't have a lot of money. Yeah, okay, I can go out and spend $400 or $500 for a rear quarter section, cut it all out, and you got to remember though, this thing was a 4-door. So what we ended up doing was, when we converted over 2-door, we took the panels off the rear doors and we grafted them to the body of the car, moved the B-pillar back. That started the journey with SlagHammer. And then we wanted to do a tilt front end. And yeah, we could have probably found somewheres, there's companies out there that make fiberglass front ends for this thing. But let's keep it, a budget deal. We have the parts here to do it with. Let's go for it. So we built the tilt front end. I had to go in and do a lot of cutting and refabricating because, like I said, originally this thing was going to be an off-road deal. So some things had to get cleaned up, repositioned, cut out, and to the point kind of where it's at now. The roll bar, the raised seats, everything is just, slowly coming together. We bought the seats used. He had the roll bar ordered for another thing. And basically, this is the thing is getting put together with parts from all over the place. So anyway, yeah, if we had the money to do it, we could have probably went and found a two-door body to put on this thing that was in a lot better shape. But at the end of the day is working with what you've got. And I mean, a lot of people in the comments, and I do read the comments, the good ones, the bad ones. Just for the simple fact is y'all been great to me by subscribing, watching my videos. I mean, it's been a learning process for me to do this YouTube stuff, and it'll get better down the road. So anyway, we get suggestions like, well, why don't you just put a 4-link suspension in it and do this and do that? Listen, that stuff costs a lot of money. And we don't have big budgets like, these other people have, where they get $35,000-$40,000 to shoot an episode of what they're doing. Nor do we have people that come in after hours and work on things, and then we come in and say, okay, this is what we did. We are hands-on on this car from the time we get here to the time we leave. Now, yesterday we did a video to get kind of caught up on things on Tony's channel. And a lot of people were making comments about the front axle on this thing. Well, it's too wide. It needs to be shortened. Tires need to go in. Listen, guys, at the end of the day, this thing is a street freak. We're going to build it the way we want to build it, how we like it, what we have. I mean, these are not going to be the tires that are going to be on it. It's going to have skinnier tires on it, which means they're going to set in a little bit more. They're not going to be all bulged out and stuff like that. We're doing 10.5s in the back with a 30-inch tire. I mean, it's going to be a freak of nature. I mean, this, it's almost like a Johnny Cash vehicle. I mean, this thing's made from parts from different vehicles and everything else. But in the day, it's something that Tony and I are doing. And then the end result's going to be pretty good. I mean, we finally came up on a paint color, which will, down the road here, sit there and disclose, what color it's going to be. It's going to look nice. So anyway, that's a quick update from the past to the present of SlagHammer. That way there, because I know there's a lot of people going on and not realizing the history of this car and what we're doing with it. And I just want to kind of let everybody know, this is what's going on. The other thing is, I get mentioned a lot, do I work here for Tony, UTG? No, I don't. I have a regular full-time job, but like I said before, Tony and I have talked over the years about doing a build together. I am going to be driving this car. I am going to be taking this car to events. I am going to take it to the drag strip. The hot rod tour, of course, the No Name Nationals. And I get satisfaction on working on this thing. I've always liked messing with cars. I'm mainly an engine builder. And I mean, I've had a blast doing this. Yes, it's had its up and downs. Yes, we've had to redo some things. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, for us, this is going to be a nice car. I mean, it's going to be street freak from hell. It's going to be loud, obnoxious, in your face, and it's just going to be a cool car. But that's it for today. Y'all have a good one. Have a good weekend, and we will talk to you soon, and I'll see you down the road.